Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, we talk about different ways to catch fish, and we've been talking about trout fishing, and I don't want to belabor that because the way most people think of trout fishing is with a fly rod and a streamer or a dry fly or a nymph or something like that. And that truly is a wonderful way to catch trout, and it's a wonderful way to fish, in my mind. Is so poetic and real and natural and athletic. But I wanted to tell you about another thing that you might be able to catch trout with. You know, a lot of us use plugs. I call them plugs, but they're hard plastic baits that are shaped like a fish or like a frog or something, depending upon what the manufacturer wants them to look like. And they have a lip, and when you tie them on, that lip will make it dive down a bit and give it an action. And when you reel it in, it will wiggle back and forth, hopefully like what an actual fish would be swimming like. But, you know, they make these in some really little sizes. And these hard plastic baits, like little baby Rapala baits, are very famous. They've been one of the best lures you could use for generations. And I remember last year I went to this pool and I thought, I wonder if these trout will hit this little tiny hard plastic bait. And I remember throwing it out and feeling a wicked hard strike, and I hooked one of the biggest trout I've hooked in several years. And it broke the lure off. You know, I never caught that fish, but I remember that does work, and that fish had probably seen a lot of other baits come through there because it was a popular spot where a lot of anglers were fishing. And yet, when I put that little plug, I bet I'd never seen anything like that. But remember that trout eat a lot more than flies or angleworms. They feed on littler fish, and trout will eat their own young. That's why a lot of these lures are patterned to look like a baby trout. And all fish love to eat baby trout. As a matter of fact, in California, a lot of the lakes where they stock trout in, the largemouth bass have decimated all the trout populations because that becomes their favorite food. Something to remember, and it's another bait. And if you have enough things that you can turn to, you know, in your arsenal, probably on any given day, you're going to find the one that works for that condition. So remember, little plugs would work for trout as well. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.